How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid. But before we get started, I must say I am happy to be back on YouTube. I was down with the flu and I also had some family stuff that I had to take care of, but now I'm here to update you guys. If you have been watching my previous videos, I've given you all the levels to look out for the stocks that I talk about, and a lot of them have gotten down to levels and have broken through certain levels where I said, you know what, it will start showing some weakness. So as far as for Lucid is concerned, it was able to post up a green day, and also we did end up getting a price target upgrade as well. We'll talk about that in the video, but I want to remind you, if you're new to this channel, we do have timestamps down below inside the description because I do value your time. So we're going to be taking a look at the short interest, we're going to be taking a look at the charts, and I'll give you guys my thoughts about going into tomorrow as far as having a strategy and so on. So let's get into those videos. So we're going to take a look at the chart for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $14.41, being up 2.49%. On the low, it tested $14.15, and then on the high, testing $15.18. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 19.8 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 20.799 million shares. So you can see that we had just below the average in regards to volume, and we saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, I know it's been a minute since I did a Lucid video, but look at my levels that I pointed out to you guys in previous videos, still continuing to bear a lot of significance. So we could see on the lower end, I was saying to pay attention to this area at $14.26. And so far for the past 2 trading days, including for today, we see Lucid is doing higher lows and as well as higher highs. It did see a low at $13.60, but again, this is nothing to be surprised about. I said if we have price action below $14.26, we could see a move going down to the $13 range, especially when we broke through $15.33. I gave you guys these possible scenarios, so you shouldn't be shocked by the price action, especially looking at the market conditions. So if we want to see a further move up from Lucid, we see the high at $15.18. So we need to see it going back to this level, and then the next area to watch closely, you've already guessed it, would be at $15.33. The moment we can get that break above $15.33, you want to see what it does at $15.50, which is right where we have the 21 EMA, and then you want to see if it can make a move to $16. But again, we need to see quite the turnaround inside the market for that. As far as for the bearish case scenario, we go back, we break $14. We did see a low at $14.15. So if we get another test at 14 and we end up falling through it, that's where we can revisit $13.60 and possibly get that move down to the 52-week low around $13.25. So definitely something you're going to want to watch closely. Since Lucid did close at $14.41, I think another red day can get us testing $14 on a nose, and it can push down further from there. But at least you guys know what it looks like to the downside as well as for the upside. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to take a look at the recent filings for the 27th. So we have Fidelity here that purchased 238,262 shares, and we have BlackRock Funds that purchased 32,027 shares. We also see iShares Morningstar that purchased 54,120 shares, and BlackRock again that purchased 87,707 shares. Fidelity here again, and they purchased just over 1.3 million shares. We go down further, we see Fidelity with 18,689 shares. Fidelity with 2 more positions, 9,196, and as well as 13,968, as well as iShares Morningstar with 53,220 shares. We also see iShares Morningstar again with 162,826 shares, and Fidelity with 9,564 shares. And also we see iShares US Consumer Services ETF that purchased 83,854 shares. So we can see some notable names that have been loading up on Lucid. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 57.42%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.60 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 800,000 up updated 16 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 6.93%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, you can see for the close of the 23rd, it was at 61.91. And then for the close of the 26th, it was at 57.42. So it did go down a little bit. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 21.38%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, here's the range you want to pay attention to: $13.60 to $15.50. If we can get that break above $15.50, then we could see it wanting to make a move going to 16 and so on. But where it's at right now, $14 is a key area that needs to hold. If we break through 14, that's where $13.60 comes into the picture, and then we can get closer to that 52-week low, which is around $13.25. So now that you're aware of these levels, please pay attention to them if it's of interest to you. Now, as far as for the price target upgrade from Cantor Fitzgerald, Lucid was given a $23 price target. So that does show that there's upside in this play, but you want to make sure for yourself that you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence. Just don't blindly buy the stock, because if it pulls back, you want to make sure that you're confident enough to load up on the dip or have some patience to want to buy the dip. I know a lot of times people will say, well, you know what, the stock is going down, I bought it, I'm looking to make some money. But you have to understand, stocks do not just go straight up. They go through cycles. And we also have to pay attention to the market conditions, the environments that we are in. We are in a high inflationary environment, and Jerome Powell recently went with 75 basis points. We also have a lot of meetings going on throughout this week as well. So that's why we have this continuation of volatility inside of the markets. But I look at it like this: if you are an investor and you are vested in a stock and it continues to go down, you should be excited. You should not be frustrated whatsoever. Again, just another opportunity to add to your position. If you are a trader, then you want to pay attention to the key levels. This is very important so you can come up with a strategy in regards to calls and as well as puts. And when I talk about certain ranges, make sure that you have full understanding of them. You just don't want to be trading blindly. This is why inside of the Discord, I go live every single day and I go through all the plays that we're looking at to trade in the pre-market to make sure that everyone is prepared. So if you're not doing something similar for yourself, coming up with a game plan, then of course this type of environment that we are in and the volatility that we are experiencing, you're not going to be able to capitalize on opportunities. But with all of that said, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. Let's see what it does going into tomorrow. It did see a high around $15.18. So if we can get a break above that level and then see some strength above $15.50, things look good. If we end up having a rejection near the high of the day for today, or even at $15.50, that's where we start seeing some weakness. But in my personal opinion, I'm looking forward to October. I can see stocks wanting to trend back up. We are going to be going back into earnings season. So let's see if Lucid could follow along with this momentum. And of course, I will continue to keep you guys updated. We'll talk soon.